Chapel. This is the Sistine Chapel. Okay? And this is a photo of the last conclave. It's called conclave, this election. See, this is the photo. So this is 10 years ago. So these people with red clothes on, these are cardinals. They're chosen by the Pope, and they have the duty to, well, they are the most important bishops of the church. I think that in this moment we have 4 or 5 American cardinals. The total number is around 100, 120, because they die and then they are new entering. And so they gather here together and they start voting for the Pope. They vote twice per day, so you know exactly the moment in which they vote. They have to vote in a specific hour. But they cannot talk with anybody outside. That's why it's called conclave. Conclave means, in Latin, comes from Latin, that's cum clave, that means with a key, because they're closed inside the Sistine Chapel. Well, they can go outside to sleep, etc., but they cannot talk with anybody. And so what they do, they put a temporary chimney inside the Sistine Chapel, here. We will enter from here on the other side. They put this chimney that goes up on the roof and it's visible from St. Peter's Square, that is just on the other side. So people know that some smoke will come out from this chimney at a certain time. If the Pope is not elected, they will burn the ballots. They always burn the ballots because they don't want to show who voted for who. They will burn the ballots, putting some black ink inside, so the smoke will come out black. Black smoke, no Pope is elected. If the Pope is elected, they burn the ballots, but in this case, smoke will be white. In Italian, fumata bianca, white smoke. That became a way to say, okay, do you want coffee? Fumata bianca. Okay. And then in half an hour, 1 hour, he will come out on the balcony and greet the people. So what is the Sistine Chapel? The Sistine Chapel is the private church, the private chapel of the popes. Okay?
How many paintings are on the ceiling?
All of these. I don't know how to count them, if you want to count. Yes, but everything is painted.
I'd say 100.
100. It's 100. So you see, this area here is the area of the old Pope's palace. That's why the Sistine Chapel is here. It's a private chapel. So what happened? That we can divide in 3 parts. 2 of them, 3 and 2, are made by this most famous painter called Michelangelo. Okay, these ones that are here, that is the first section of paintings, are made by different painters, and you have to remember all these names because I will ask them. No. So we can divide into the first part are these paintings here, that are here. End of 15th century, so 1480, 1470, 1490, etc. And these are, on one side, stories of Moses, and on the other side, stories of Jesus that are put in relationship. So, for example, in front of the baptism of Christ, you will find the crossing of the Red Sea. Because the crossing of the Red Sea is the baptism of the Jews coming away from Egypt. Baptism is being saved by the slavery of your sins. Theology. Okay? So this is this first part. On top, you have some popes, okay? And from here, so over the windows, everything was made by Michelangelo in 2 different periods. These are the periods that it's better to remember. The first one is the vault, the ceiling. It's your turn. Do you like to paint? this is how Michelangelo painted. So at the end of the day, he had problems. Yes, and paint will fall on his head. So that's why he wrote a letter to one of his friends, telling him how he was suffering in those days when he painted the ceiling. Okay, he had to build a huge scaffolding because Pope Jules II, who asked him to decorate the ceiling, this one that you see here, asked him not to block the celebrations in the chapel. So he wanted to celebrate with all this scaffolding on his head. And so Michelangelo did not like to paint because he was a sculptor and an architect. But he had problems with the architect of St. Peter, so well, strange story. The Pope said, you have to paint for me. Okay, keep it.
Can't say no to the Pope.
Huh?
Can't say no to the Pope.
You can't say no to the Pope. Yes.
So after it was cleaned, they applied, I assume, some kind of sealant to it. Could they put any covering, like clear polyurethane or something?
These are frescoes. So you have to put you paint on fresh lime plaster.
Okay.
And you have a couple of hours to work because it will dry.
For sure.
So he had to make all of a project, all drawings on paper, and then make little sections that we can see on the. If you go near to the frescoes, you can see the sections. When you can see day 1, day 2, day 4, etc.
Okay. I guess I was talking about like. A protective layer after it's already cleaned, a protective layer so
No,
they don't have to keep.
No. You're talking about the.
I'm talking about the
30 years ago restoration.
Do they have any kind of a covering, or is it just the paint?
No, it's just cleaned up. They
Just
didn't
clean.
put anything
They didn't
on
put-
it
okay.
because the black that you see here that changed the color. These are the restorations that were made 30 years ago. This black here is the smoke of the candles. In this moment inside the Sistine Chapel, they don't use any more candles. So they took away this black thing. That was a protection. Michelangelo put a protection on it, and that became black. They took away this.
Okay. So it's
And
for,
the
I was
bright
just curious.
colors came out.
You answered my question. Thank
Okay.
you.
And we knew that the colors were brighter because we had old copies of his paintings, but we always saw them so black. So I remember when I was a little boy, I saw the Sistine Chapel cut in two. One half was restored, and the other one was not restored. It was amazing. Because the difference was it's this one. The difference was incredible.
It's like pressure washing the driveway.
So you have here. You have here a scheme, so you can use it when you will be inside. When you will be inside, you can talk. Just don't talk with the guide, unless you don't want to. So you have this one. Okay, this can help you when you will be inside. We have in these arches here that are not in this photo, are these the ancestors of Jesus. In the triangles, the ancestors of Jesus in family. Then we have sibyls and prophets. One sibyl, one prophet, one sibyl, one prophet, etc. So prophets are the people of the Old Testaments that talk about something that is going to come. For the Christians, is Jesus. Sibyls are ancient Roman pagan kind of priests that talk about the future. And the idea of Michelangelo was that also paganism talked about Jesus. It's his own theology. And then in the center, where we found this very famous image, that is the center of everything, we have the story of the creation of men, starting from the creation of the universe, arriving to Noah. This God here, he is separating the light from the darkness. Someone says, but scholars do not agree. All the scholars agree on this. This could be a self-portrait of Michelangelo, shown from looked as when he was painting the ceiling. You see, it's a god. In this case, it would. You have a question.
I noticed something. If you turn it like sideways, you see that they're on a bench.
A bench.
Yeah, if you turn it sideways,
Like what bench?
this bench.
Like.
Do you think he would have done that? Do you think he would have made himself the artist?
Probably yes.
You think so?
Yes, because Michelangelo.
He was
well,
an artist, right?
He
Oh,
has
I'm
a
the
self-portrait
greatest.
here, and this
Okay,
one
yeah.
is sure. I will show you.
Okay.
But Michelangelo knew that he was doing something great.
Yeah.
So probably he didn't want to say I'm God, but he wanted to say as God creates the universe, artists create art.
Yeah.
So probably it could be something like this.
That's
So we have God here, so light and darkness. Planets, creation of planets. This is the
oh, I see
sun
the moon.
and the moon. Okay.
Oh, I was looking at the other moon.
This is yes, the other moon. It's sometimes it happens. And this is water and earth, the separation, and then the creation of Adam. Most famous creation of Adam. Creation of Eve, and then all the story of the apple. You know it. You know everything. The snake. That is very strange snake because it's a snake, but it ends with a human figure. And then Adam and Eve are thrown away from the heaven. And then 3 stories of Noah. The sacrifice of Noah, the arch. This is, you see, this is the flood, the arch. And then this is the drunkenness of Noah. Something you have in Genesis. 20 years later, another pope asked Michelangelo to paint the wall that was on the side of the altar. Okay, so not this one, but this one. Okay? And what he did is to eliminate all the corniche that you have here. You see, this is all corniche. On this side, you have them. Okay? And he just made this whole wall like if the wall is open on a big, huge window. Last judgment, what does this mean? It means the last day, the dead people come out from the tombs, they go up to Jesus. If they're good, Jesus will judge them. They will stay in heaven if they're good, unless they will go down to the hell. You see this very nice caron that is beating people entering inside the hell. Okay? When he painted this, also when he painted this, but mostly for the Last Judgment, he was very criticized because he put a lot of naked people, and there were he had a lot of critics for this. For example, there was a nasty priest that entered every day in the Sistine Chapel telling him he was working badly, and so he made his portrait here in this demon here, Minos. It's a demon. Made his portrait, and he has big problems with a snake. Okay. I can't see anything, but he has big problems. And ouch. And a few years later, there was a painter. The Pope asked the painter to cover the nudities. Okay. So during the 30 years ago restoration, most of these coverings, you see these tissues. Here, this one, were taken away. So, for example, this was covered. Some remain to show what happened. Okay? This painter was called. His name was Daniele da Volterra, but Romans give him a nickname that is Braghettone, because in old Italian braghe means underwear, so the underwear man, because he put underwear
Oh, Captain Underpants.
Yeah, that
Captain
reminds me of
Underpants.
Captain Underpants.
Yes, so it's Daniele da Volterra, detto il braghettone. Okay. So some figures when you are inside. So this, for example, that you have here, this is Saint Bartholomew. He was killed, taking away his skin. So he has his skin, and this is surely a self-portrait, because Michelangelo talks about it. here Michelangelo wants to say, I don't know if I deserve to be in paradise, so I will put my face on the Saint-Berchon's skin. No way. And also this is Jesus in the center. You see he's very muscular. These are because these kinds of huge bodies is because in those days in Rome there were excavation and a lot of Roman ancient statues came out. We will see them in the collection, and we have also the statue that Michelangelo used for the Jesus.
Who's next to Jesus?
So it's a study of ancient art. That's why this period is called Renaissance, because after 1,000 years of Middle Ages, in which artists lost the knowledge of ancient Roman art was rediscovered, and so they painted, they also built it, looking at this kind of